Good morning, everyone. I am Dr. Jagriti Ghosh, Assistant Professor Sociology, Assam Downtown University, and today we will be doing development and displacement in Northeast India. This topic is a part of the fourth semester sociology course, Societies in Northeast India. So, in order to understand development and displacement in Northeast India, we have to understand what development is, what displacement is, how do we conceptualize Northeast, and how does all of it have an impact on the indigenous population of the region. So, what is development? Now, development is often understood as something which has a very positive connotation, something which is always an affirmative. It could mean improvement, it could mean progress, but we have to question as sociology students that does it mean that? Is it always positive? Does it always mean positive things? Because the idea of development was started by first world countries to develop the underdeveloped, as if it was almost a moral duty. Therefore, development might not always be positive, and also we have to understand that development is not only infrastructural development. When we say development, it has to be overall growth. If it's not overall development for everyone, if it's not sustainable enough, then probably we are talking about growth and not development. Therefore, we have to identify the differences between growth and development. Therefore, as students of sociology, we have to very critically understand development. We have to move away from the commonsensical understanding, which might say that development is all progress and improvement, but we have to critically understand that as a concept it started in the west to develop the underdeveloped, and how the entire concept of third world was started from it basically started from President Truman's speech, where he said that it was their duty to develop the underdeveloped, right? Then we move on to what is India's development model. Now, India's development model has been a top down model. India's development model has been that all developmental policies or would be made from the top and would reach the people at the bottom from a top to down approach. Now, there is a problem with it because people at the top might not know the problems that are there. And also, since the country is so diverse, someone sitting in Delhi would not know the specific problems of a specific village in Nagaland. So, it has been of that top to down approach, and also India's development policies have also made the marginalized more marginal. We see more displacement in terms of the Adivasis, the Dalits, or the women. So, India's development model or India's development policy has to be understood critically. Then we come to what is displacement. Now, United Nations High Commission distinguishes between two kinds of displaced people. One is internally displaced people, or the IDPs, or the refugees. Now, the refugees, they move out voluntarily, and the internally displaced can be displaced because of a lot of reasons, from natural to man-made. And here we are mainly dealing with the internally displaced people due to developmental projects, which is man-made, which is man-made. So now we have understood what development is. That development is something which is not just something which is always positive, always progress, always improvement, but it is something we have to look at it more critically as something which has to be overall, which has to be sustainable for everyone in the society, then how development projects, or in certain development, certain infrastructural projects like dams, roads, bridges could cause displacement, and that displacement of people from their original places of inhabitants to other places. And now we come to understand how that affects in northeast, since in this paper we uh, trying to understand northeast. Now what is this northeast? Now northeast should technically be just a geographical region, but it is not. It is understood as a homogeneous area, as if all the states in the region are same, as if someone from Arunachal is similar to someone from Assam, or Tiwa group is similar to that of a Rabha or a Boro or an Angami, or a Chang, or any, or a Chakma, or a Singpho. But it is not, it's diverse. But when we say northeast, it erases those diversity and makes it just one region. Then the area is also a frontier area, therefore there's constant pressure in this area to protect the territory and the land and resources. The area is, there's a lot of ethnic identity movement from this region. The first identity movement, the Naga movement, is from the region. Then then there's also infrastructural development. Now in all, now we understand that northeast is a very very complex uh, region, very very complex population to understand. There are a lot of complexities, there are a lot of hierarchies, there are a lot of differences. It's diverse. So how does displacement, then development induced displacement, affect this population, right? So in India, displacement due to development projects have become a common occurrence. The poor and the marginalized people have to bear, the brunt of it. There are more than 4,000 dams that has been built. Initially the dam building was in the northern, central, and other parts, but then lately it has been in the northeast. Northeast is thought of to be the the major source of hydropower, and then uh, you know how it affects, the entire population because of that. So then there is a so even now we see that in the Dibang Valley there will be some dams, and people are opposing it because that's the largest rainforest area, home to a lot of wild animals and various endangered species. But then there wants to be coal mining, so that development and natural environment, and in a lot of cases we see that environmental impact assessments are also not done properly. The various objectives are not met. So how does this affect the people? So because of displacement, people lost their livelihood. People who are working in that area, when there is a road or a bridge or a dam made, the local people have to move from that place because they're displaced, so they lose their livelihood immediately. Landlessness, huge problem. People have to leave their land because of a lot of development projects, and we have seen that since a lot of people do not have patta lands because these are communally owned lands, therefore huge problem of landlessness. Then there's loss of space of social interaction. That means that people would go together to a pond to fish, or go together to collect fuel wood, or other things from the forest. But now when they're displaced, they obviously cannot do it, so that their spaces of interaction is lost. There's huge impact on gender relations, because women could go to the forest, get certain things. Now when they move out from their places of inhabitants to and in a lot of cases we have seen that where there's displacement, various tribal people have moved out from their place and moved to the slums. And also we see that there's they lose their connection with their natal families. they lose their certain source of income. So it has impacts on gender also. Therefore, development has a very strong relationship with marginalization. Actually, should development policy and should be of such a kind that it includes everyone. If only it includes all the regional differences, all the regional hierarchies, all the regional diversities, then only development policy can be sustainable and can be good for everyone. Thank you.